coughing, throat clearing, the sensation of food sticking in your throat, pain or discomfort while swallowing, pocketing food, regurgitation, and even drooling are all signs of a swallowing impairment. Most of us don't even think about what can potentially go wrong with swallowing. We eat our food, we enjoy it for comfort, for family gatherings, nights out, and that's just about it. But for those who develop a swallowing disorder known as dysphagia, swallowing can become complicated and can even cause fear and anxiety. So in this video, I'm going to break down the normal physiology of swallowing in detail, but in a way that's easy to understand. This is a 3-part series, so be sure to watch part 2, where I discuss what can go wrong with the normal physiology of swallowing and what symptoms you guys should look out for, and part 3, where I discuss the current treatments available to improve swallowing dysfunction. But thank you so much to Tony Foles 9499 and Amy Aranda 4898 for leaving your comments. I do hope that this video series provides additional clarity and is helpful in your journey. And for everyone else watching, if you have a specific question and you would like for me to create a video, please go ahead and leave your comment down below. I do take the time to read them and I take the time to respond. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the video. Now, swallowing occurs in 3 phases: the oral, pharyngeal, and esophageal phase. The oral phase is voluntary, meaning that you have control over it, while the pharyngeal and esophageal phases are involuntary and means that it happens automatically. The oral phase is the first phase of swallowing, and it primarily involves the lips, teeth, tongue, cheeks, soft palate, and saliva. The physiology of this phase is all about preparation and control. The lips create a seal to keep food inside the mouth and help build intraoral pressure. The cheeks work to keep the food positioned along the midline of the tongue, preventing it from falling into the pockets of the mouth. And the teeth, along with the jaw, break the food down into smaller, more manageable pieces. At the same time, the tongue is doing a very important job. It manipulates the food, mixes it with saliva, and helps it form into a cohesive ball known as a bolus. Saliva also plays a pretty big role here, by helping to break down the food and bind it together so that it can move more efficiently. Once the bolus is formed, the tongue begins a coordinated movement in a front to back direction. You can think of the tongue almost like a ramp, guiding the bolus towards the back of the oral cavity. The job of the oral phase is to prepare the food and transport it in a controlled manner to the point where the swallow reflex can be triggered. This phase is initiated when food enters the mouth and is completed when the bolus reaches an area at the back of the mouth known as the palatoglossal arch. And this is what leads us to the next phase of swallowing. Now, the pharyngeal phase is the second phase of swallowing, and this is where a rapid and coordinated sequence of events take place. This phase involves the throat, also known as the pharynx, and includes the coordinated movement of the base of tongue, the velum or soft palate, the laryngeal hyoid complex, and the pharyngeal constrictor muscles. This phase is initiated when the swallow reflex is triggered and is completed when the bolus passes through the upper esophageal sphincter. Once the bolus reaches the palatoglossal arch, it triggers a cascade of events that happen almost simultaneously. The base of the tongue retracts to help push the bolus downward. The soft palate elevates to close off the nasal cavity, preventing food or liquid from entering into the nose. At the same time, the laryngeal hyoid complex moves in an upward and forward motion. This movement serves 2 critical purposes. It helps protect the airway, and it also assists in opening the upper esophageal sphincter. Now, the speed, pressure, and volume of the bolus all contribute to the opening of the upper esophageal sphincter. And while all of this is happening, the vocal folds close, and the epiglottis, which is a flap-like structure, folds over the airway, acting as an additional layer of protection. Meanwhile, the pharyngeal constrictor muscles contract in sequence, creating pressure that propels the bolus downward through the throat. All of this ensures that the airway is adequately protected so that food and liquid do not enter into the lungs. The job of the pharyngeal phase is protection and propulsion, protecting the airway and efficiently moving the bolus towards the esophagus. Now, the esophageal phase is the final phase of swallowing, and like the pharyngeal phase, it is completely involuntary. This phase is initiated once the bolus enters the esophagus and is completed once the bolus enters the stomach. It involves the esophagus, which is a muscular tube that connects the throat to the stomach and acts as a primary passageway for food and liquid. The physiology of this phase includes coordinated wave-like muscle contractions, also known as peristalsis, which help move the bolus downward toward the stomach. The job of this phase is transport, moving the bolus from the esophagus into the stomach safely and efficiently. Now, believe it or not, this entire swallowing process takes only 8 to 10 seconds. I kid you not. And the pharyngeal phase only takes less than 1 second. All right, let's stop here and continue in part 2. In part 2, I'm going to describe what can go wrong with the normal physiology of swallowing. I'll discuss the cranial nerves that are involved. I'll also discuss the muscles that are involved, and most importantly, the symptoms that you should look out for. All right, the thumbnail should pop up somewhere on the screen here, probably over here. Did it pop up yet? All right, awesome. Go ahead and click on that video for part 2, and I'll see you there.